So guess what? I have another project to do. My little Jabsco Macerating toilet quit working on Sunday. I couldn't get it to turn when I hit the flush button. It wouldn't turn. Once I did get it turning again, the shaft has that slot in the back. You can turn that and it helps free up stuff from inside the toilet. I don't know if it was jammed up or not, but it just stopped turning. And but it does turn now, and the vortex impeller turns and pulls stuff in, but there's no water coming in from the lake. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it apart. I think what it is the water impeller that pulls the water through and flushes it is not working, because the motor also sounds different. It sounds like there's something not working about it. Even though I hear it whirring, it doesn't sound like it used to. So I think that impeller may be damaged or something. So I'm going to go inside there and look at it. So hey, go along with me, and maybe if you have the same problem at some point, it'll help you fix it too. The older school Jabscos have an impeller that you can pull out of the housing and put a new one in to the housing, and you seal it all up. But unfortunately, the newer Jabsco pumps are like this. Here's the motor, and then here's the impeller that pulls the fresh water in. You may recognize that. But the older ones had access to the impeller. The newer ones are a sealed housing, so you can't get to the impeller and replace it. And I've seen these online. They're pretty expensive. So this is a more recent version of the impeller, and I was going to basically buy one of these or buy the entire motor system and just replace that and have a new one. And they're about $300, which to me was a lot of money compared to what I could have done if I could have just replaced the impeller on this, which should have been a $30 part. So I was shopping online for options, and Amazon has these. This is an exact replacement. Let me go back a minute. If you put the old impeller and the motor together, you get this. Well, they were selling this same exact part. I'm trying to think of what the number is. 37010 is the Jabsco part. And when I put that in Amazon, it came up with this, which is basically the entire thing. The motor, the impeller housing. This is the part that connects to the toilet, and it's got the little rotating knife blade in there. And then inside there, you've got the vortex impeller that pushes everything into the toilet. So this is everything you need. And the price was incredibly lower. And I know this is an off-market part. This is probably a Chinese part. Now, where are these made? These Jabscos. They may have been made in China also, but there's no label on it. Basically, but it's the same exact part. If you look at it, you can see it's almost exactly the same. And it's going to fit in my toilet. So, bottom line, I'll get to the punchline here. It should be an exact replacement, a retrofit right into the toilet. To prep this unit to go on, it's all complete. Both impellers are in here. The blade's there. It's ready to go. There's two things I needed to do. First thing was put these little shoulders on the pump. These make it so they fit with these hose fittings. If I left them smaller, these would probably leak because these aren't small enough diameters. So with these little sheaths on here, these clear ones, it makes it so they fit both of these lines. There's one other thing. This gasket comes with the unit. It basically goes on here and it seals it around here. So it seals this system. So let's go ahead and pop this on here. Now it fits in a groove. It fits in a groove around this plate, but it doesn't stay very secure. So you have to, I should have used some like light adhesive to keep this gasket in place when I turn it up sideways. So it's in there. I'm going to hope that it stays in. I've got it pressed into that groove. And I'll use these brand new brass screws to tighten that in. So let's go ahead and get this thing seated first. Now keep in mind there's a little lip there that fits into this. Inside here you'll feel a little groove at the top. That way this only goes in a certain way. It doesn't go in weird ways. That way this opening matches up with the outlet of the pump there. So this needs to go in a certain way with that little nib on the top. So I ended up having to remove this part. I was gonna leave it. There was one screw that I couldn't get out, so I just cut it out. The reason I had to do that is because this little gasket on here, you turn it sideways, it doesn't stay seated, and you can't get it in here without it unseating. So once I seat the gasket, I can keep it like that, like vertical, and then have this and just put this on top, and it's a little easier to get with the gasket's gonna work. Yeah, we don't want a leaky gasket. Okay, see, now it's seated. The gasket's still in place. I'm gonna tighten this thing down. The replacement part comes with 4 brass screws. These flathead screws. So let's go ahead and put those in. So I'm gonna hold this together, flip it upside down. Okay, so I've got these 4 brass screws that bolt the motor, the pump, into the housing of the toilet in the basin here. Those are all secured. I have the black gasket that goes in between here and here, hopefully in place. It didn't slip out. Make these pretty snug. Just make sure they're good and snug, but don't strip them out. I'm gonna put this back here where it goes in place. I'm not gonna bolt it down to the deck yet because I want to make sure that we've got a, I'm gonna put the toilet seat on. I'm gonna hook the wires and the lines up for the evacuation there. Make sure everything flows with no leaks. And then when I'm done there, I'll go ahead and bolt this back down to the deck. This is the water intake line. This comes in from the bottom of the boat. It pumps in, I'm gonna call it fresh water, but it's really just lake water or salt water, depending on where you're at. That's pretty tight. Once I run it, if there's any water coming out here by any chance, I'll just tighten it down more. It's pretty darn snug though. This hose going down to my black tank is flexible, and it kind of kinks up in some spots, which isn't really a good thing, but it needs to be replaced. So let's go ahead and put, this is the evacuation for the macerator. It goes through here down into the black tank. Put the tank down. By the way, this is the housing where the joker valve's at. Joker valve sits right there, so any kind of fluids going through there won't back up into the system. Get this nice and tight. It's snug enough right now. If I have any leaks when I start running the thing, I'll just reassess that issue. But it looks pretty snug right now. I think it's getting time to have to plumb it in with electricity. So I'm going to cut these wires down to a sensible length, and I'll fold them up under here and connect the 12 volts. By the way, before I started working on this, I did shut my DC panel breaker off for this system, so there's no electricity here right now. They give you a good amount of wire on this, which is kind of cool. Probably 6 feet, more like 4 feet. I'm going to leave a few feet in here just so there's extra room, so if I need to remove something without untying it, I can. So let's go with about that much, and I can just fold it over. So I'm going to cut this down to about 2 feet long off of here. Get these even. Not that they need to be, but okay. There's that. I'm going to be using these connectors. Basically, you slide the wires in here, and then you use a lighter or some sort of heat source to shrink wrap the outsides. So I need to cut off about probably 1/8 of an inch. Okay, put the hot one in, red to red and black to black. If you do it the opposite way and you reverse and put black to red and red to black, you might have a problem on your hands. I'm using these crimpers to crimp these ends. So we should have a good connection here. You just do a light pull on it. You don't need to like try and pull them apart like, you know, with like a death grip. Just a light pull. They're holding pretty snug. So those are ready. They're ready to go. Okay. Right in between there, got to make sure you got that gasket in place. This is what keeps water from leaking out all over your feet. This is the funnest part. Blindly turning these screws, hoping they're going in, these bolts into the toilet base. You need a better wrench than this because it's just a lot of doing and undoing. So if you've got a sideways ratchet, use it, baby. Everything's ready, man. Okay, so I ran the toilet, water's coming in through the top. I won't show you that because the toilet's kind of dirty. I pulled it out and just kind of like haven't cleaned it yet. But putting this all together, I'm gonna now bolt the toilet down to the base here. Now that I know the water's flowing, I'll tighten this up. I'll also bolt it down to the deck so I can sit there without it flopping around. Everything else is pretty much connected, all the wires and lines, and there's the power lines. I'll wrap those up and clean them up, and I'll tuck them back behind there. And then I'll put this cover on the back so it looks neat. I got a lot of cleaning to do back here, but at least I've got a toilet that's pulling in water and flushing properly now. Jabsco are from the big marine corporations that sell these things. This thing was way less expensive, so I bought 2 of them. I've got a backup for my new one, and the price was still ultra low. So what I'm going to do is, if you want to replace yours, check my link down below. These prices are amazing on these things. You can buy 2 and have a backup, or but anyway, it's basically an off-brand version of the same pump. Hopefully it'll last as long as that one did. But the impeller is new on this one, so I should have a great flushing toilet when I get done. So thanks for watching this video about the Jabsco Macerating toilet. This thing has been an ongoing saga for me. This boat is 30 years old, and the toilet in it has needed repairs pretty much once a year or so. Little things going bad, it's bound to happen. It's a boat. Anyways, hey, I need your help. I need people to subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to put more content on here that will be helpful to RVers and boaters alike. And I really enjoy sharing this information, even if it's cleaning or repairing a toilet. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, share this stuff with people with common interests. Thanks, man. It's Kevin from Tiny Boat Living Adventure. Have a great one.